Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Summa Sales School. We have a fan favorite in the house today. We got Adam Bensman, with the roof strategist. Adam's been making an incredible impact in the roofing space, and he's helped owners and sales reps achieve their financial goals. Today, he's going to be sharing some of his secret sauce and his teachings. Adam, thank you so much for joining me today, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I'm sorry that I was number 2 and not the first one. No,
just well, hey, what is it? First is the worst, second is the best, something like that, right? Yeah.
No, it works for Avis Car Rental. You remember their tagline where Avis said, "We're number 2, we try harder," and then their stocks shot up.
Yes, see?
So, right here. So I'm number 2, so I gotta try harder. We're gonna bring it today. So no, I'm glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, hey, thanks for joining me. So Adam, before we really dive into the meat of things, why did you decide to get into the roofing space?
Just in general, like jumping into the industry?
Yeah, why did you get into roofing?
Yeah, broke and desperate. The way most
yes,
man. This industry is the saving grace of rock bottom for most. Every time I speak, I'm like, who here came into the roofing industry from doing well? Actually, even at Roofing Process Conference, I was on stage on the panel and I said, who here came into the roofing industry after you were already doing well? And I kid you not, a room full of, I don't remember how many people there.
Yeah.
But about 5 hands went up. That's it. So I fell into it I was a massage therapist. I had studied natural medicine, and massage wasn't my thing, but it was how you could get a job and get moving.
Yeah.
So imagine the analogy would be like, imagine that you never sold a roof before, and then you decided to start a roofing company in Dallas, Texas. That's what it was like for me to start in the massage world with no experience, straight out of school in Madison, Wisconsin. So
Wisconsin.
I was living below the poverty line. I was earning about $19,000 and change a year, about $1,600 a month, living on literally $4.20 a day in groceries. And then my rock bottom was I wanted to go see my family. They were 2 hours away in Illinois, and I had to ask my mom for $20. What's funny, I just talked to my mom a couple weeks ago. She forgot about this story. It's like the pivotal.
Yeah, this was a life-changing moment for you.
Pivotal moment. And I'm like, I had to ask you for $20 for gas to drive in to see family when we got together on Easter. And she's like, I don't remember that. And I was like, it was like the most emasculating moment of my life. So that's how I got into it. On the drive in, I called her to thank her. My stepdad, Ron, was in the roofing world and very successful, helped grow a company and scale their operations and set up offices, develop a retail division, worked in stone-coated steel. And he's like, hey, you could do 6 figures selling roofs door to door. And I was like, doctor money, you can't do that. So I jumped on Craigslist in 2011.
Craigslist.
And then interviewed with people and chose the one company that I stayed with until I came to the side, because the owner was and is a fantastic human with a lot of he cares about people and does the right thing, and I felt it. So that was oh man.
As we've been interviewing different people, we started out with marketing, now we're in the sales section, and we've been asking people how they got in the space and everything like that. It seems like you're saying, a lot of people have this breaking point where it's like there's looking for a change in their life, right? And they get into roofing, and man, there is a lot of opportunity here, right? So if there's people out there that might be looking for a new opportunity, they should really consider it. I mean, what kind of opportunities can people find in the roofing sales space?
You have no idea how many people come up to me at these conferences that got into roofing sales because somehow they stumbled upon one of my videos. And I had a gentleman that just sent me a Merry Christmas card. His name's Frank. Frank, if you're watching, thank you for that. We'll leave his last name out.
Let's go, Frank.
Yeah, Frank. Frank was in the, oh man, I forgot what business. Anyway, totally not roof-related business. Saw one of my videos, somehow got looped into the YouTube world, sucked down that rabbit hole, gets a job in roofing sales, changes his life, and feels confident. And what's accessible is beyond the money. If you're only interested in the money, you're going to get bored. It's the truth of it. Roofing is not that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. I don't really care much about roofing. I know it's weird to say in my position, since my brand is the roof strategist and it's my entire livelihood. But here's what I mean by that. Roofing sales is personal development in disguise. It's a vessel to come into and learn how to, I just, when I spoke at Roofing Process, it was 9 fast fixes to close even more without changing much else. It's one of the only industries that you can change what you say and get a $5,000 to $15,000 a month raise or more.
Mm-hmm.
And what's possible is very reasonably $100,000 income in your first year. And another gentleman I ran into at, was that RoofCon or Roofing Pro? I think that one was also a roofing process. He earned $300,000 in his second year, which by the way is incredibly high. But six figures, multi six figures, having fun, learning new skills, breaking through your own internal demons, learning how to deal with conflict, learning how to sell, learning how to be efficient with your time, learning how to become a new person. It's a very exciting opportunity that is accessible to anyone who is willing to do the work.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's got to get you so excited. You got to think about people, right, who are looking for that next thing in their career, right? Maybe getting paid 50, 60,000, whatever it might be. Yeah. They can go, start selling roofs and maybe in their second year make up to, 300,000. And we're not saying that's, that's happening all the time, but that just shows those are real stories of people completely changing their life and really just pulling in some unbelievable income, right?
It's insane. I was looking at my phone because I just had someone send me a few things, like this gentleman, Corey. Okay. Yeah. First year in, cold call. He watched some of my videos, 268 square property. Year later, $1.5 million property off a cold call.
Wow.
And by the way, context-wise, that $1.5 million, depending on the commission scale, is a six-figure commission from one deal.
Yeah. Can you think about that? Think about selling something and making over, making six figures on that.
Yeah. That's what's fun. It's the thrill of, I don't know, man. Like you get to write your own paycheck. You get to create your own company and livelihood and choose what it is that you want to accomplish. It's a really, and what makes it fun is that there's very low barrier to entry. Unfortunately, that's what riddles this industry with crooks. It's the same thing, but you can get into it and you follow the formula. Well, I teach the roofing sales success formula. You follow the formula. By the way, I don't care. It's not necessarily my stuff. I provide it, but the formula is the same. You follow the formula, you win, and you're going to grow. Yeah. So we can get into that at some point.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I came from the outside sales, right? Outside sales background. You pretty much, it's very similar to the DGD space in terms of you kind of make your own schedule, right? It's kind of like running your own little business, right? So, there's not somebody watching you. Yeah, you're pretty much entrepreneur. There's not somebody that's trying to keep you disciplined, right? You're responsible for your own activities. So for me, it's all about, creating your routine, creating your structure, your habits, right? To really make sure that you're disciplined and can produce those results you want to achieve. So what routines and habits should a successful salesperson develop?
Oh man, that's too funny you ask this because I so happen to have some notes from the 5 success habits that I shared recently.
Let's go.
So let's start at the top. Daily, I'm going to start with the foundation and then we'll hit these 5 success habits. Foundation is this simple. It's actually, you know what? We're going to go through the 5. This is in no particular order because one of them was in here. Number 1 is to do something that makes you uncomfortable every day. Every day. And I'll share a personal story. I've been encouraged by people. By the way, if I spell things wrong, it's because I'm trying to write and talk. So if I'm pretty literate, I think, but if I'm not,
I like it though. That's a cool background doing that. I like that setup.
Thank you. This is how we run in the Pitch Pro movement. Our live sessions. It's just, a lot of people who are tuning in, I teach the way I need to learn. I have the attention span of a squirrel. And I need to
the same way.
What's the key message? Because I zoned out for a minute, right? By the way, I am working for it. It's also in this journal as my mission for the year. So the year of concentration and discipline. All right. Number 1, get uncomfortable. And I'll be, most people don't share this stuff. To me, door knocking was crippling. I was a people pleaser. I didn't like conflict and I didn't like to piss people off. And when you're knocking doors, you can see that you're going to do a lot of that.
You might piss a couple people off.
And you're going to be yelled at, cursed at, called names, threatened at the police, called on you, called a scumbag, demoralized, dehumanized. And it's so critical that we lean into that discomfort because people naturally seek comfort. And I am Guilty is the next one. When things get tough, what do? You skip the day at the gym, you curl, you Netflix and chill. You just want to like not do the things that make you uncomfortable. And number one is this business. You have to push yourself. That gentleman, Corey, who made the $1.5 million sale off a cold call, he did it. He even told me, and we had the interview on my channel. He says, I was nervous to make the call. And I said, I wanted to lean into that. Why? He's knocking doors. He goes, because there was a lot riding on it. I didn't really feel comfortable. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, there it is, comfortable. You weren't comfortable doing it. Lean into it. Like, how do you get comfortable? How do you get comfortable with things you're uncomfortable with? You do them more often until they're natural. So number one, this industry, if you like comfort, get out of roofing sales. Okay. This industry is not kind to people who seek comfort. Number two is to use your time wisely. This is where most people go wrong. Not all time is created equal. 3 o'clock is a way more valuable time of the day than 5 a.m. Pair your income producing activities at the right time.
Yeah.
Number three, this is probably my favorite one. Windshield time to classroom time.
Yeah.
If you are not interested in personal development and growth, you're going to rot and die in this business. You're not going to last.
It's not going to be pretty.
A plateau, and you're likely going to earn more money flipping burgers or being working at a standard salary job, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. I laugh at it because I could not imagine a more miserable existence for my personality. For many people, that's the same smart choice. Okay. Likewise, many people would say I could never do what you do because it sounds miserable. I was like, yeah, well, I love that part. So at any rate, we spend about 20 hours a week on average in roofing sales in your vehicle. That's the equivalent of a college degree. Okay. That many hours.
Wow.
When I'm not on the phone, I am listening to books. I listened to every single thing Brian Tracy ever produced. Now there's podcasts. I always audiobooked myself. Now I'm a bit more into value-driven podcasts, but turning windshield time into classroom time. Number four, this one. This is a group of planning, preparation, and reflection. And I want to dive into this one just for a minute, preparation and reflection. So planning needs to start in preparation the night before. So many people wake up. This ties into using your time wisely. You wake up in the morning. If you don't already know exactly what you're doing, your day is already off on the wrong. I think Brian Tracy said the first 15 minutes are the rudder of the day. They will steer the direction of where you go. So I do all of my planning. Here's my daily plan for today that I'll be the first to tell you. It doesn't always happen. There's a daily plan, pre-planned last night. I know it's hard to see that.
You're good at that stuff though, too, because I watch you. I watch you on social. You're doing the journaling. You're doing the meditation. You know what I mean? You're doing all that stuff. It's almost like a mind cleanse in a way.
It's a mind cleanse, but it's just, I'm a routine guy, man. Like
routine is big. Routine is big.
Maybe it's neurosis. It probably is, but I gotta have routine. So journaling is part of it, but I'll do my journaling, reflecting. I want to pre-plan the day. So when I wake up, I'm going, not trying to figure out where to go. Right. So if you're going to do,
so you do it the night before.
Always.
You do it the night before.
Always. With very rare exception, if I'm the days that I, got totally derailed on the one in a lifetime emergency or fire or something, but always the day I reflect back what got done, what didn't, what needs to carry over, pre-looking at my schedule, what time I need to be up, when's my meetings, when's my follow-ups, what builds are going on, because there's not enough time. Roofing sales is the career that when you get done, it is the only job I'd ever had where I said, I only wish I could have a few more hours to work. That never happened to me. It was always watch the clock. Oh man, 2 more hours. Now I'm like 2 hours and I'm racing the time. So I've done videos on how I structure that, but goal for the day, reason for the goal, the things you can't miss. Okay. Your installs, appointments, supplements, batching where you're going to be on install day, where your appointments are at, follow-up, supplements, paperwork, admin, everything is set. So you wake up, you say, hey, that's what I got to do. And now you're just following the plan, as opposed to, if you wing it, your income's going to reflect it. So that's number 4. And then I got to get back to my 5th one because I flip pages.
Drum roll, please. Number 5.
Number 5 is take care of yourself, specifically your health and your relationships. And I'm going to tell you, I'm putting this on here because I sucked
That's
at this.
huge. That one's huge.
Most nights, probably every night, for stress management. I stopped working out, and I put every minute and every hour of my day into work. For the most part, with very rare exception. So I didn't have many relationships. I didn't have a social life, man. And I gained 30 pounds. For those that have seen me in person, they're always like, you're so much taller on camera. I'm 5'3". All right. 30 pounds on my frame. I was a butterball. So, you know, I ballooned up. I didn't feel super great. I was out of shape. And this business, we have to remember that money can't buy your health back. Money can't buy your best friend back. Money can't fix your marriage. Money can't fix your relationship with your kids and buy back time. So as you chase the fun achievement, take care of yourself. So, you know, there.
You know, I kind of have one question too, is that I wanted to just briefly touch on was, you know, what should a salesperson look for when looking for a company to work with? You know, I mean, if I'm looking at different companies, trying to find the right fit for me, what are some things I can kind of analyze or think about?
Good deal. There's three that I'll hit right off the bat. Number one is values. And I'm gonna group values and culture in there. The C word of culture is excessively used. I want to define what that means for someone who's listening. Okay.
Yeah.
Values are, I'll give you an example. I sat down with this company to interview with them when I first got into the business. I'll never forget it. Love the guy. He's super nice. I'm like, this is a cool company. And then he's like, all right, this is what we do. And he's selling me on the industry. And he's like, and then these adjusters come out and they have to approve the roof for hail damage. By the way, this was when Eagle View was not, or aerials were very rarely used. So we were still hand measuring. By the way, I know a lot of new salesmen don't even know what that is. Like, what a tape measure is the thing with the numbers on it that you roll. Sorry, I feel like an old man.
What's that? What's a tape measure?
Dude, I got a heckle, like, as a small tangent, that when I was at Roof with a few guys, I'm like, in the old days, I'm like, we got in, there wasn't even CRMs. Like, I was having to hand measure roofs, put together material orders, fax them to ABC Supply, go pick up my own permit. You know, all of these little things that are now.
Where were you putting your leads then? No CRM? Were you writing them down or what?
Dude, I had a file folder with files organized. My CRM was the same pipeline, like follow up, new customer scheduled, done, waiting for depreciation, collected, and then complete. And I'd physically cycle them through. But anyways, while I'm there, the guy's like, back on track here. He's like, yeah, when the adjuster turns around and you're hand measuring and helping him, all you do is like build this rapport. And then you just like add an extra foot or two to the measurements. And I was like, you just basically told me that you engage in criminal activity on my job interview. So values are something that you're going to sense, listen to your gut. Number two is culture. I'm going to just hit the kind of 4 culture types. Culture is the vibe of the environment. So think you go to a bar or restaurant, the culture is the feeling. Okay. So culture 1 is the nightclub culture. It's the company that works hard, party hard. I've got a client in that world. They yacht party, they nightclub, they are ragers. And I stopped drinking 4 years ago, but I went out to an on-site with them, and let's just say the mornings were very difficult. So that's one culture. The next culture is like the more family-oriented culture. They're really driven by oftentimes faith-based companies, very different feel, family feel. Then there's the large company, the company that is like the massive, they've got the growth, they've got the footing, and you want to be hitched onto the wagon for the brand. They've got systems and processes. You're going to plug and go. Then you've got the small company that's up and coming, and you're going to be part of shaping the growth. You might evolve. You're going to have more potential to grow into a role. You're going to have more pains because small business, there's growing pains. And then you also have the company that's like the personal development company, the company that's driven in helping people change their lives. And I know I said 3 and I gave you more because I expanded on them. That's like the vibe of the culture. Number 2 is I'm going to put responsibilities. Okay. You're going to notice that I don't cover pay. Why? Responsibilities. There we go. Mostly spelled right, maybe, hopefully. The responsibilities, every company does it different. Some will have you go knock to close, or as they say, cradle to grave, all the way from knock, close, supplement, produce, manage everything. Others are going to just have you knock doors, sign deals, meet with adjusters, or if it's retail, get a contract, turn it in, you're done. One of my favorite clients says, you go create the problems, I clean it up. And he just has his team sell deals, turn them in, and he has an incredible production staff. And they are one of the top producers, if not the top producer in the state, and that they operate in. Now, the reason I gave those different responsibilities is that dictates pay. Pay is the last thing. I will tell you that it is very rare that I see people pay too little. More often they're advertising too much or they're not getting paid. The weight of the pay isn't as important, but the number one thing I would take a peek at is the training. If they say you'll ride along and learn how you go, they're a bit dated. So that's the values in the culture, the responsibilities you're going to have in the training. Almost everyone is offering competitive pay. And those that offer more are doing it out of desperation and likely don't realize the consequences of running their business with paying too much.
Well said, my friend. All right. So now that we got the right company for us, right now, we all want to be, like you said, hey, maybe we can work for a personal development type company, right? We want to focus on personal development improvement, right? So how can people, reflect and kind of analyze their pitches and their performances to kind of improve their close rates?
Very good question. You need to figure out where your sticking point is first. So when we break if you've watched any of my videos, the roofing sales success formula is the be, the do, the say. Getting the right person, doing the right sales activities every day, saying the right thing when you pitch at the door, present, overcome objections, and close. We can use this as a diagnostic tool to pinpoint the area of weakness for the rep or the company and say, hey, we want to open the floodgates. This is your sticking point. So what I would do, this is the say, and I want to break this into sections. So we have let's just say your door pitch, your D2D pitch, which is getting on roofs. You've got getting in the house, and then we've got presenting, we've got objections and closing. I know that's just like horrible segments, but figure out is this. So are you getting on enough roofs? If the answer is no, you got to focus on just the door pitch. Don't try to fix everything. What do you say at the door? How do you hook them into conversation? How do you create the need to get on the roof? Okay. Let's say you got that. Are you getting in the house? Okay. If you're not, if you're presenting in the driveway, and I know a lot of top producers that do, but when they go through and they learn my style of closing that I teach in my car park formula, most of them never, ever, ever sell in a driveway again because they realize the power of getting in the house. So this is the next piece. After this is presenting. Most folks don't have a presentation process that they follow. They just think they're going to talk track their way through it. And it doesn't work. Now, when I say presentation, I mean, you know what information to hit in what order, as opposed to just talking. There's a formula.
Just going with the flow. Yeah.
You're in sales. You get it. O is objection handling. If you're caught on your heels on the objection, I got to think about it. We want to wait. I want to see what the insurance company says. You're too expensive. So-and-so, so they eat my deductible. You need to practice on your objections. And then if it's C, closing, it's likely all of these things paired with asking for the business. So your mission is first to pinpoint the area that you need the most help on and then find those resources. Now, I teach a complete start to finish system that covers everything from the minute you step foot in the house to the minute you leave. And if anyone wants, you can search Car Park plus my brand, Car Park Strategist on YouTube, and you'll find a video teaching you this model, since we wouldn't have time today. But connect, assess. Go ahead.
What's the best? I want to just take a quick break here to say, hey, let's say that people are really interested in what you have to say right now, right? And you could be a resource to them. What's the best way to get a hold of you and learn more about your program?
Yeah, very good question. 2 ways. I'll put it on the screen. First, call or text. This is our office phone. Alia will be able to find the information. We've got a handful of different options. What we provide is an all-in-one sales training, sales strategy, and sales system that covers everything from knock to close. And like past 9.5 hours. And we've got them for individual reps. We've got packages for companies that are just starting and established companies. And if you text or email, I will be able to send the right info over. And if it warrants you and me jumping on a call, we will. The other thing you can do is email me. It's adam@roofstrategist.com. In hindsight, the name strategist is hard to spell, and I often have typos myself. So if you don't hear from me, I respond usually within 3 business days. Check to make sure that you sent it to the right person. But Adam@roofstrategist.com. Adam@roofstrategist.com. But it's important that you ask the right questions and we help figure out what the best plan is for you. But thank you for saying that. I do appreciate it.
Hey, hit the man up, right? So if this stuff could be beneficial for either, your sales team or yourself as a sales rep for a roofing company, hit Adam up. I'm telling you, you will be very happy you did. I've never had anybody ever say anything bad about his program. So get on it, check it out, invest in yourself, right? And I guarantee you're going to see a good return on that investment. So make sure you're doing that. All right.
Thank you.
One thing I wanted to actually talk about too is we were talking about goals. I wanted to hear what you thought about this. Like, are you open to goals being based on like activity, like, doors knocked or whatever it might be, more than results, or should it always be about like deals closed?
Good question. Clear answer to that. So, gosh, this isn't to shamelessly plug my program, but I do have a spreadsheet that has a calculator that does all this. So I'm going to tell you the concept. You take your goal. I break it down into 3 categories, and you're going to see. So you have your needs, which are the lowest amount. This is, I need this money to live on. Then you got your goal. You got your stretch goal. And for most people, and again, I'm giving the most category. If anyone's tuning in and says that's stupid, you're entitled to your opinion and plug in your own number. Needs 65 to 75,000. Goal 100,000 to 120. Stretch goal 140 to 160. That's just the general guideline. Okay.
Yep.
Now what we do from here is break this down into an annual plan based on a 9-month selling season, because 9 months you have to sell, collect, then monthly, then weekly, then daily. What this will do is give you, after the daily plan, tell you how many sales appointments you need per week. That's the number 1 metric to focus on, not the sales, the appointments. It keeps the hopper full. And what activities you need to be doing on general guidelines to produce that number of appointments, meaning how many doors to knock, direct mail letters to send, cold calls to make, letters to leave behind, networking calls to make. They give you general guidelines of metrics to keep it going. So to go back to your question, when you see how similar these are day to day, it's a very small difference versus annual.
Really?
This difference between 65 deals to 140 deals on average. 140 deals is daunting. You break it down into a weekly or a daily plan. It's a few more doors a day. It's 1 or 2 more appointments per week. Okay. It's very marginal depending on your numbers, because what you're going to factor in is the actual goal. You're going to factor in your commission, and then you're going to factor in your percent of close rate, and with general numbers to roll with. But this commission number varies. Like at roofing process conference, some of the rooms said their average commission was $6,000, and I was like, I just want to go sell for you, where many companies that average commission is $700. So that's where those factors are. Now, do I focus on metrics or the goal? I follow the daily activities.
Yeah.
I am on target. Then all I care about is the number. Did I have this number of sales this week or this month? Okay. If yes, no action needed. You're on target. If no, now we go to the formula, the be, the do, the say. We first check with the person. Do you have the motivation, the drive, the hustle, the heart? What's going on personally? All checks out, we go on to the do. Are you doing these activities? If not, everything goes back. No further discussion needed. Go do the work. If they're doing the work, then we move on to the say. You're not communicating properly. You're not pitching at the door. You're not getting your inspection. Something is off in the communication aspect. Then we fine tune in there. So I know that was a bit more than you asked for, but it's
I like that.
Yeah.
No, I like that, because when I was in a slump, if I was ever in a sales slump, I focused on the activities, like you were kind of saying in there, right? Where I was like, all right, I have to do 100 dials a day or whatever it might be. And I focused on hitting that.
Yep, exactly. Results trump everything. If you can sell $2 million a year working 3 hours a day and smoke cigars on the beach and kick your feet up, by all means, you're hired wherever I'm working, right? Like, but most people don't. My point is the results drive everything. No results, go to activities. Activities aren't working, we move into the next level and we try to fine tune the skills.
So, okay, I want to talk about training, right? I mean, something that you know everything about. So, how should a salesperson be doing consistent training? Should they do, set a time every week to just kind of, focus on developing and stuff like that? Or what does that look like in terms of actual implementation of consistent training?
Training never ends. I mean, here's the analogy that I use inside our Pitch Pro movement, which is I work with a group along with 4 other mentors. And what we talk about in there is that sales in business is an infinite game. By the way, that language, full credit to Simon Sinek. I was inspired by Infinite Game.
Right.
And we don't imagine this. Like, this is what drives me nuts about some salespeople. Imagine an NFL athlete that is arrogant enough to say, I reached the NFL. I ain't going to practice. I'll show up on game day. Yet so many salespeople, I've been in it for 10 years. I've been in it for 20 years. This is my 3rd season. This is my 4th season. I don't need role play. I don't need training. I have it all figured out. I'm just going to go to work. Like, that's not the top performers. There's plenty of those people out there. And if that's you, I'm calling you out right now. Give yourself a hard look in the mirror. If you're in the NFL, you don't just show up on game day. What people don't realize is that game day is where you screw up and a homeowner's reaching in your pocket and taking money out because it's missed opportunities.
Yeah.
So this is where I look at training and the infinite game. So a training is a ground up generally. So training is like learning the strategy and the system. From there, you have the foundation. It's like going from flag football to NFL, that first gap. Once you're playing at NFL level, once you're at your peak, it should never stop. So to answer your question, if it were me, I would, and of course I have all of this. This is exactly what I provide. So I'm the first to tell you that my response is 100% bias, but I'm also going to tell you that even if you don't spend a penny with me, you need to do this. Okay. And I don't care who you do. You need to get trained up on everything that you need to be doing. You need to have a crystal clear vision of your daily plan. That's step number 1. Step 2, you need to know exactly what you're going to say as you approach the door, as you pitch. Number 3, you need to know exactly how to overcome objections. I have a very unpopular opinion on objections, and I think that most people should throw those flashcards out because you're responding to language, and it's a smokescreen.
Let's dive into that. Let's dive into that one. Talk more about that. There? Yeah, about the objections. Like, what's your true feelings there? Because I felt some passion there, so I was like, all right, I gotta feel that. Let's what we got there. You hit me.
Okay, I have to think about it. What does that actually mean?
No.
What does that mean?
I don't want to move forward now, right?
Correct. It doesn't mean you have to think about it. So that's point 1.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to wait and see what my insurance company says first. What does that mean?
I'm not ready yet to go with this.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it means. It means I don't trust you. You're not. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let's go to another one. Hey, my roof is fine. We don't have any damage. It doesn't leak. What does that mean? It means I don't need you. I need nothing that you're offering because my roof is fine. Okay. So here's the key lesson. The objection is a smokescreen. If you're overly fixated on the language that you're hearing, you're completely missing the mark. And number 3, I teach that all objections line up in one of 3 categories. It means they do not trust you yet. It means they don't think they need you or your services, which is roofing, GC, whatever. Or it's a money issue. Trust, need money. That's it. It's that simple. They don't trust you, they don't need you, or it's a money issue. So when you learn to understand what an objection truly means, you can then overcome it. I teach a different style of overcoming it using the ARO formula. And it allows people to, especially the new rep that will hear the weird objection. I've been in sales a long time. I still get objections I never heard before. And I've watched sales reps when I'm in the house. And all of a sudden they get to think, and the cat got their tongue, they're frozen, their eyes go bug-eyed, they're freaked out, and they're like, I don't know what to say. And then they just like panic. And then the homeowner goes through it and everyone's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to know how you need to have a plan in place to confidently step into the questions and objections, even if you don't know the answer. That's the beauty of the ARO formula. The first part buys you time to formulate that response. So anyway, I'll go as deep as you want on that.
That's why, I think, with the objections and just, human behavior and, how to handle certain situations, how to tier up yourself for success and setting expectations. Sales is just kind of a beautiful art. Wouldn't you say, like, really, when it comes down to it?
It is an art. I love that you put it that way. It is an art of communication and learning.
Yes.
The best part is it's not an art of talking. It's an art of understanding. It's understanding in how many times. If I had $1 for every time a salesperson told me what they're saying, but was actually wrong when we did role play, I could retire. If I got $1 for every time a sales rep said, that's how I say it, and then I hear them, I could retire. If I had $1 for every time a salesperson said, well, I walked through the contingency this way and they canceled or this happened. What happened is it's not what they said. It's what the person heard. So that's my understanding the difference between the words you're spouting and how they are landing on your prospect. Creating, because we have green money-colored glasses clouded with our industry and expertise. And our homeowner is dealing with this for the very first time, except for my friends in Texas. It's the 10th time this year. Just kidding. So anyway, I want to redact one thing I said. Actually, no, not redact it. The reason I'm against flashcards is because it overly fixates training on the language. So it trains us to say, I heard these words, I have to think about it, which, by the way, is the exact same thing as I have to talk to my wife or my husband. Identical. I don't want them fixated on that and then like the perfect response. And the other reason is it trains one of the worst and most destructive sales habits ever. And that's the combative objection handle. Overcoming straight out of way. I have to think about it. What, are you not interested in getting a roof practically free? Okay. All of a sudden the homeowner is like, whoa, you're coming at me, bro.
Right.
Different than throwing a right hook. And this is what's commonly practiced. They say this, I say that. People train objections like verbal fighting. And it is the #1 trust killer. I've watched it, man. I have a baby face. I've been in more homes and watched more sales appointments than most because you can't film this stuff. I mean, I know people are starting to. My ethical compass is like, bringing. If you filmed me in my home, I promise you would be out. The minute I saw it, you would be out that door.
Exactly.
Audio recording, different thing. Video. I don't know. But anyway, that's my passionate feelings on objections and objection handling. And I want my reps to feel confident, man. Like,
exactly. I agree with that, man.
That if you practice the fast word vomit, the perfect thing, and then you get the language you never heard, you don't know what to say. So that's why that's excuse me style.
So one of the things I kind of want to bring it to close with is, you look at the best, sales reps, and I have a lot of friends that own roofing companies, and the ones that have the same salespeople year in and year out that are absolutely crushing it are usually the ones who are motivated enough to stay consistent, right? Do you have any tips on, making sure that you're being motivated or staying consistent or anything like that? Or is that something that you just can't really teach?
It's a good question. Can people teach you things? Yes. But I don't know if it's any different than teaching someone a sales strategy. I know that people that use the strategies I teach make money. I know that there are people that buy them that don't use them to their fullest. One of them is one of my favorite companies. Shout out to my friends down in Orlando who know who they are, that have been using it for a year. And they only picked and choose some of it. And they decided, hey, we're going to go all in. Day one. By the way, it was because of a competition. We were going out for steak dinner. And they said, whoever doesn't bring in sales this week is buying Adam's steak. And I didn't know about this till Marcos is his name. Marcos picked me up. Marcos, if you're listening, thank you. And he said, hey, we're going to start working this strategy in full. That day, one of his reps, simple thing, work the install, use my letters. He got 3 deals. And the customers called him and said, first, I want to thank you for coming by. Who calls you to thank you for the lead? Okay.
Right.
The reason I share that story, they had the resources. Okay. You have the plan. No one can force you to do this. All information out there, there's one thing. It's who will execute and who will not execute. Okay. The path has been laid. In terms of having the accountability, you need the grounded. There's a few things. You need the grounded why. Okay. By the way, I got to do a shout out to my buddy Deshaun Bryant, the Roof Hustler. He's a fellow mentor inside the Pitch Pro movement. I brought him in because this is his lane. I'm going to give you my answer. He crushes it on the mindset stuff. But in terms of that consistency, you need a daily plan. You need a why. So here's what I mean by why. You want to make 100 grand? Why? Because I want to pay off my debt. And then I want to go deeper. Why? So I can save enough money to buy a house. Why? So I can raise a family and give them opportunities I didn't have. Now we're somewhere. Okay? Because 100 grand means nothing. 500 grand means nothing. And you need to constantly remember and to give meaning to the meaningless tasks. This is a repetitive industry. Knock, talk, ladder, inspect, close. Knock, talk, ladder. I mean, it is the same grind. Okay. I mean, that should be a rap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he just did one. He just did one, didn't he?
Yeah. So anyway, that why is one thing. And then accountability. Accountability is key. And getting some sort of camaraderie going on the group chat with your team. Picture the first knuckles on the door of the day, and having people rely on you, namely a significant other. That's my best advice is you gotta have the plan, you gotta have discipline, and you just need to create the habits. I mean, at the end of the day, as I said, Deshaun's the great guy on mindset. I am all about building habits.
Yeah.
To me, you have the habit. I plan every night. I execute today. I look back on what I did. I pre-plan for the next day. Rinse, repeat. Accountability, a big reason of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and people that can hold me accountable, such as a significant other.
You mentioned why, right? It was like, I want this because why, right? And you mentioned Simon Sinek before, right? And he's got another great book that goes along, with similar guidelines to start with why. How great leaders inspire everyone to take action. So another great book you can check out. But, hey, Adam, one more time, what's the best way to get a hold of you again, bud?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to put my phone number up. Please, this is for product and program questions. If you call this, you're not going to get me directly. You're going to get Alia, and Alia is going to either find out what you need and help out, or she'll get us set up on a call. I am usually booked out 3 or 4 days. So jump on that now, or you can email me. Adam@roofstrategist.com. And that's Adam@roofstrategist.com. And I'm happy to chat with you about a variety of different options, but I want to make sure that I send over the information that's relevant to what you need right now in your company or your business, Adam, or as a sales rep.
Yeah, as a sales rep too. Adam, thank you so much, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.